The future of radio is here. New era TT Radio, Nett Radio. Let's go.
Money to do so many different things, and that is what we need. More money, plenty money. And that's what Trinidad and Tobago need right now. More money, plenty money. All right, well, let's see if God can help them to get some of that. So, people, welcome to Every Cent Counts here on the Nett, New Era TT Radio, Nett Radio. This is where we are joined by Garth Thomas on a Monday. Mr. Thomas, a great Monday morning to you.
And a great Monday morning to you, Sir Charles. And to all our listeners out there in New Era TT Radio land. How goes it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't complain. It's pretty decent. It's okay for the while. How was the weekend?
But nobody going to take you on swim.
And that's the next thing too. Nobody going to take more.
So I don't know. Well, Sir Charles, I'm waiting for my guest to log in. I have a guest this morning. His name is Patrick Roberts, and I'm looking forward. He sent me a little note. He said he was listening. I don't know if he has logged in as yet. Give me a moment and let me just see if I can get him on the phone.
Yeah, right? No problem.
I'll let him log in and we will move the thing from there.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we are back on the inside. So you made contact?
Yeah, I made contact. He should be logging in anytime now. But in the interim, I will introduce him.
Okay, no problem.
All right. His name is Patrick Roberts. And he was the art teacher at Trinity College when my son attended Trinity College. So actually, he taught my son art. All right. He is 67 years old. He's a multidisciplinary artist who works out of Port of Spain. Although having fairly recently lost all of the sight in his right eye and most in the left, he continues to be creative. Patrick's recent watercolor and acrylic-based pastels and acrylic paintings often tell the story of his journey with glaucoma, or rather glaucoma's piggybacking ride with him. He says that losing one sight is very frightening, but for a visual artist, losing one's eyesight is exceedingly terrifying. However, continuing in art is an important part of his ongoing therapy. With over 30 art exhibitions to his credit, locally and internationally, Patrick also designs Trinidad Carnival costumes. He designed his first Trinidad Carnival costume in 1979. Now, some of his children's costumes serve as inspiration to make others aware of the challenges of glaucoma and the general need for eye care. Odyssey is his 2026 children's mass. Odyssey uses the trials of the Greek mythological hero Odysseus to paint a series of abstract paintings that traces Robert's journey with glaucoma. A few of these paintings were adapted and converted into the 2026 children's mass. Further, Roberts has combined these two visual artistic areas of fine art and carnival costume to design and to publish two books. The first is called The Windows, A Conversation with Glaucoma. Here he uses a series of paintings of windows from Laventille, where he was born and raised, to tell the story of glaucoma living with him. The second book is Odyssey, Another Conversation with Glaucoma. This text also speaks of the challenges of his acceptance and getting into advocacy. The Windows is currently on Amazon and Odyssey will soon follow. Both are must-reads for any and all, especially those who can still see or need to see the window of hope. So that is a little bio there of our guest this morning. I guess he is still experiencing some challenges in terms of
Coming in now.
Huh?
He's coming in now.
He's coming in now. All right. So I am delighted to have Patrick. Hi, Patrick, and welcome.
Good morning, Garth, and thank you very much.
Yes. I can see that you had some challenges with shaving.
Well, no, it's not challenges with shaving, it's carnival time. And shaving we'll have to wait until February the 18th.
After the mass.
Wednesday. Yeah,
after the mass.
Yeah.
All right, I can identify with that. But it's great to have you on the show, Patrick.
Thank you very much.
And last August here, the 31st of August was Independence Day. I always mix up the two.
31st.
The 31st of August, we celebrated our 63rd anniversary of independence. And we have made some progress as a nation. That is undeniable. Whether we have made anywhere near as much progress as we need to make and as we could have made, that's another issue entirely. And that is the kind of issue that I'm raising on the program here, because here we are in 2025. In a blink, it will be 2050. That's 25 years down the line. I don't know about you, but apart from Vision 2020 and Vision 2030, which are two national development visions articulated by the PNM, apart from that, I have not heard anything that identifies 2050 as a target date for the achievement of some very specific things nationally. Now, I have been sharing on this program a template, which I have called a wealth creation template. And I designed it initially to provide people with the bare bones, some kind of a structure which they could flesh out, which they will have to flesh out individually. because I cannot do a wealth creation plan for anybody except myself. And I think nobody should relegate that responsibility to somebody else. You want to be wealthy, then you need to know what wealth is all about. You need to know what part finance plays in that picture. And I say what part finance plays because wealth is not just finance, not by a long shot. So I will quickly outline for you, Patrick, so that you could be familiar with it, the essential elements of this wealth creation template. And in outlining it for you, of course, I'm outlining it for my audience again and refreshing them. It's a simple template because every Trinbagonian must be able to take this template and work with it and flesh it out. So it is no sort of complex accounting data and stuff like that. That is not the plan. It doesn't really treat with economics per se. The plan comprises 3 lines. That's as simple as you can get, Patrick. 3 lines. A finish line, which is where the planning process begins. You know, the implementation process begins at the start line. But the planning process begins at the finish line because you plan backward and you implement forward. Yes? So we say the finish line, we need to identify a finish line. We need to identify our current resources. That is the starting line. What are the resources that we have available? And I deliberately use the word resources, Patrick, because I don't want to say capital. You see? Capital has a limitation because when you think capital, you think about money. And the thing is so much bigger than money that it ain't funny. All right. So I say you have to identify the resources that you have right now, right at this moment. What are the resources that you have available for mobilization? So you have the finish line, you have the start line, which I will come back to in a moment, and you have a timeline. Well, in the context of our conversation here now, the timeline is 2050, 25 years down the road. Yes? The start line, there are 2 columns in the start line. Tangibles and intangibles. You see, now we're coming close to what we want to talk about today. Because when people think of resources, they tend to look at tangible resources. So in the national context, we're looking at oil and gas. And we're saying that's your resources. Yes? Very unfortunate because unless you're pokey eye or you have visual challenges like this, Patrick, no, I ain't pulling your leg. But that just came out there. Unless you're pokey eye, you cannot look at 2 different things at the same time. And focus is all about narrowing your vision to eliminate the peripheral things which are important but which are not critical. Yes? So I have identified those 2 particular aspects of our resources, our tangibles and our intangibles. Now I have added to that mix, Patrick, the scientific reality that 99.9% of the universe resides in the intangible, which means to say it's only 0.1% in the tangible. So anytime you are focused on the 0.1%, all right, you know you're missing the mark because you're ignoring 99.9%. So I preface our discussion this morning with those realities, yeah? Because as we look forward to 2050 as a nation, I am saying, what are the intangible resources that we have significantly neglected because we are so focused on the tangible resources? What do you think are some of the intangible resources that are resident in the whole nation, which are begging to be recognized and mobilized to move us forward as a nation.
Well, good morning to the listening world. I believe that all we have is carnival. That's my
I didn't get that. Say that again.
I believe that all we have is carnival.
All we have is carnival.
Carnival, yeah, that's all we have. We're not nothing else.
Okay, you want to expand on that?
Yeah, sure.
I know you want to expand on that.
And I say that because we are the market leader in the world where the Trinidad Carnival is. And nations, cities, people outside of Trinidad see that and want that. There are other nations who will have more oil than us, and more gas than us, and more cars than us, and even more people than us. They do have more carnival than us. So a number of them have festivals, but they don't have carnival. And they're trying to find out how we can get to that carnival. And if we build our nation on the carnival or on the carnivalesque, we will be in a very safe place, because we will be a happier nation, we will be a productive nation, and all will be well. In 1962, on the verge, seeing that you spoke about independence, on the verge of independence, 1962, the Prime Minister to be, Dr. Eric Williams, he was Premier, said that he needed to give the nation of Trinidad and Tobago a gift that would last. And he wrote a book called The History of the Peoples of Trinidad and Tobago. And in that book, the last chapter of the book, he wrote, if Trinidad and Tobago were to produce all year round the way as they produce at carnival time, we would become the greatest nation on earth. In 1962, right? So 63 years ago, Dr. Eric Williams wrote that. That's published. And it's one of the books I believe that every child should read now. More recently, the Roman Catholic Archbishop published a similar sentiment in a book recently published. And we're not hearing about a book at all. Right? He said, imagine a panyard where when they are, right, so you're hearing this amount of noise, right? People learning this, it's just noise. And then either the drill master or the arranger or the captain comes and knocks a pan 3 times, bam, 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 and everybody stops. He said, you know how wonderful it would be to ring a bell and let the whole nation stop and pay attention. And then that leader now will tell them what they're going to do. He also said, this is right, that when someone comes into the yard, the pan yard, who does not know the tune, he can be big, small, or indifferent. What happens? He says someone who knows the music will take him or her aside and teach them the music until they are good enough to fit back in with the hole. Those things, he said, happens in the carnival. It does not happen outside of the carnival. And so my suggestion again, and in my case, I have been to various parts of the world helping to build Trinidad-style carnivals. The Trinidad Carnival can only happen in Trinidad, and the carnival is so powerful that wherever it goes, it will adjust, it will morph to the dictates of the host cities or the host country or whatever it is. And that is what the world wants from us, right? The way we walk is carnival. The way we talk is carnival. Any two of us that get together in any part of the world, bet your bottom dollar party will start. and we go bring the carnivalesque to the fore. However, the carnival came from the belly of the people, and for the most part, those who make those decisions are not interested in allowing us to rise and, as you put it, get wealthy, because the carnival has enough in it to make every single Trinidadian, born and unborn, wealthy.
Okay. So, we are living, our current reality is a very divisive society. Would you agree
Yes.
with that?
Yes.
Is there anything else outside of Carnival that unifies the nation as a whole?
Well, sport.
You think that sport,
Yes.
you would put it on par with Carnival?
No. Because not everyone will have the physical attributes to contribute to sport. But everyone has the physical attributes to contribute to Carnival. And as you're talking about the divisiveness or divisiveness, for Carry Festa 95 here, I was in charge of the St. George West region. And we decided that we would celebrate our part of our county. So we started with a function in St. Joseph, and we went all the way down to St. Peter's and things, and having events out of the normal time frame. One of the events we celebrated was Jose, and we had a Jose display out of the normal religious period. We had it in Mokarapo Girls Archery School. So in sitting and talking with the young craftsmen and artists, I asked them, all you get involved in Carnival? They them now. I said, well, why not? They say no religion. I say, but a lot of the old carvers and sculptors and wire benders were Muslims, they watch me like I'm crazy. I say, yeah, because I say, when the same skill that goes into making those elaborate tajas are the same skills that goes into making a costume. We have not been educated properly. So that once we start transferring all of these skills, right? The two steel bands that won the Panorama from South, or the two southern steel bands that won the National Panorama, were led by Inuit Trinidadians, Lennox Bobby Mohammed with Guinness Cavaliers, and Steve Achaiba from Hatters, right? The leader of the 2025 winning Panorama band is Inuit Mohammed, right? The Carnival does not segregate. Like I said, the Carnival is really, really all-inclusive. Bring whatever you have and come. So,
bring whatever you have
and come.
Yes.
Yeah. Your mother will tell you that, bring the thing and come.
Yeah.
Same thing. Just come. There are no barriers. You don't need no O level, A level. Again, in the Panyard, in the mass camp, so there are people who would go into the Panyard, and after you find out, he's a bank manager, and he come in and take buff like everybody else every night. Say, yeah. Because in the Panyard, we need to work as one.
Everybody is everybody.
Right? You can't decide as a player you want to do your own thing on the Savannah stage. Well, you could do it, but you know what will happen? Your man will get thrown out, and then you might get thrown out too. So it talks about a kind of harmony in all senses. Same thing with the Calypso, right? And the Calypso tented, right? There has to be harmony. Same thing with the mass band, right? And all the other facets of the Carnival that we can deal with. I was hearing your Toastmaster lady just now talking about finding ways to monetize a film, right? And we see films being made in all parts of the world. One of them, James Bond film, started off down in the Carnival in Brazil. That is not happening here. And you can imagine what that does for your country, because you're now selling your carnival in itself. I know, I have a couple of people in the carnival who live in Castle in England. One of them, he don't have a single level subject. I know men who drop out of school and have made the wealthy lives through maths, right? What else Bungie Garlin would have do to live the kind of life he live in? Carnival, Fair and Lions, and we can go on and on and on and on and on, right?
What is it, Patrick, about the carnival that generates this vibe that unites people, that forms a solid basis for interaction and relationships and joy? What is it?
Remember, the one of the things about the human spirit is wanting to be free, wanting to be unfettered, wanting to be unshackled. We have heard the philosophers say that for 364 days or so, or 363, whether it's leap year or not, we wear a mask, and on Carnival, we take off the mask, and you see the real Trinidadian. So that's one way of looking at it. But what the Carnival allows us to do is to be free. And we are all, I don't think I know anyone who don't want to be free. So on that Carnival day, I don't have to know you, but we also see it. We see Carnival less in the cricket. Here's a story. Mick Jagger used to come to Trinidad and play in Poison. And in those days when cricket was seasonal, England was playing the West Indies in the Oval. So Mick Jagger sitting there next to this guy. And the guy pulls out a cooler bag from below his chair, and I'm going to use what some people might find offensive. He look at Mick Jagger. You don't know Mick Jagger is there? Yeah, white boy, you want to be hard. So Mick Jagger say, yeah. This Mick Jagger story, yeah? He opened the and he had him in. So Mick Jagger said, try to talk to me, tell me, say, hey, cricket play, we don't talk in cricket, because them days there are no big screen for no replay now.
Right.
And you see it in the park. If you go into the party stand in T20 cricket, you don't have to have no drinks or nothing, you know. People will give you food and they will give you drinks. If you listen to Denise Plummer Calypso now leaving, she talks about that, right? She could go in the Oval and see Lara Bat and she will get Babash and she will get curry this and thing. Because that is who we are. And in that arena, we all become free, right? So when you mix sport with the carnival, I don't like the way our national teams go out on the sporting field. Another example, when I was at Trinity College, as you know, I was with Royal House and the house color was blue. So in telling them, I say, this matching thing, we can do something better than that. And after they get two push in the right, not pushes, they get two push in the right direction. they say, but be this Marvel, Blue Devil, become last in the match pass, because this was novel. But if you ask anybody who win the match pass, they don't know. We were the spectacle of the match pass. So winning and losing was not important. It was a number of young men and young women in blue with devil horn and fork and thing, and spontaneous, where's the word, extemporaneously ramaging themselves on the field, which is part of the carnival, which is what we do. So once that spirit is free, so your spirit is free and my spirit is free, and those spirits start to take us up to a higher place. We all become one. So after hug you up after the carnival, I might know you, but in the carnival itself, we are all one. And I think any nation that can achieve that. Remember long ago the British bobbies came here to understand how come so many people are driven by music and alcohol, and those two drivers usually cause chaos. and nobody dies. They say, wait till you do it. They have to come here to study, to understand. Just leave the people alone. Same thing in New York City now. Just leave the people alone and let them enjoy their carnival. Right? If you try to interfere with it, you will have problems, and that has been documented for almost more than 100 years. So it's about freedom of the spirit, and in that freedom of the spirit, we all become wealthy because I'm free. I could get food, I could get drink, I could get whatever, and I locked into that music in whatever costume I want or don't want, right? And if we look at, so for example, let's go back to the Blue Devil thing. I go down the road every morning, and I see Garth Thomas, my partner, standing up on the pavement looking like a tourist, and I have a bucket of mud up in. You know what's going to happen to Garth, right? Garth has to come and join me, especially if I ain't see him for a long time.
Yes.
This is the welcome, right? So you have to come in the band, right? Pay, not pay, it don't matter. Come and join me in this celebration of our emancipation, and that is both noun and verb. That's what it is.
Yes.
When you look at what Austin Lions, whether Blue Boys for Blue, did to Skinner Park, right? Every time I watch those videos, I am amazed. Talk about a magic one, that blue rag, the whole of Skinner Park bumping in unison, right? Thousands and thousands of people, right? Dust. Wait till you say dust flying in the air, right? People jumping and whining like they don't care.
Yes.
Because they don't care. Not at that point in time. I am free. When I go back to work tomorrow, well, the boss might drop me up and things, and he go tie me down. But for that moment in time, nah. Priceless. Mastercard.
So Patrick, I understand you have a mass camp.
I do.
Tell us about the mass camp now.
Okay, so we have two bands. We have an adult band and a children's band. The children's band is 39 years old, and their mass for 2026 is called Odyssey, Another Conversation with Glaucoma. So glaucoma lives with me. I don't live with glaucoma. And when I found out that there is child or juvenile glaucoma, I was blown away. So I have become an advocate for glaucoma, and I use my art to talk about glaucoma, right? And also I'm trying to force the young masquerader to read. So the mass is linked very heavily to the Iliad. You know, we had from Homer, you had the Trojan War, and then the Iliad, which was the Iliad, and then after that, the Odyssey. So the mass story is linked to the Odyssey and that 10-year voyage. And but Odysseus spent 7 of those 10 years in coming back home with Calypso. So the children's mass is like a precursor to the adult mass, which is Kaiso. So the adult mass Kaiso traces Calypso from 1912 to 2025, the time of designing and producing.
Give me that again. Give me that again. Say that again, Patrick.
The timeline we're looking at the mass from 1912, when the first Calypso was recorded, to 2025 when the mass is. Calypso is the modern mother music of the Western Hemisphere. Right? In 1912, Lovely String Band recorded Mango Vein. It was an instrumental, but we know the song. I want a penny to buy Mango Vein.
Mango.
Yes, right. And then after that, a number of Calypsonians went both sides of the Atlantic, and especially in Harlem, but Harlem was bubbling, right? What is now the big carnival in Brooklyn started in Harlem. And a number of Trinidadians went to Harlem and were living high up the hog, singing Calypso and Kaiso. So Lion and Tiger was sent by Decca. They were at a record with Decca. They were sent by, you remember the the music for Sagums.
Who's that?
Sagums, the music for Sagums.
Yeah, Sarums.
Right.
Yeah.
Eduardo Sagums of Portuguese descent is
Right.
he sent them abroad to record. And a number of Trinidadians have, through the Calypso, without Lord Woodbine, right? Harold Phillips from Labantil, the Beatles wouldn't exist. Right? Kate Simon, Lord Briner, who won our first Independence Calypso competition, is on record as saying that Bob Marley and the Wailers used to sing backup for him.
Is that right?
Yes. And then the first record to sell 1 million, record and album, this long LP, long playing album, to sell 1 million copies was an album called Calypso. It was done by Harry Belafonte. What is interesting for me about that is that the year before, a Trinidadian named Edric Connor, a folklorist, he did an album named Calypso. The two albums are really, really similar.
You ain't saying somebody copy or thief anybody thing. You just say that the two albums are very similar.
Really similar.
I love it.
And then we know that a number of the songs that Belafonte made popular were written by Lord Melody. You know? Yes. That whole Mama Look a Boo Boo thing. And if you look at videos of Mama Look a Boo Boo, you see people like Nat King Cole and them singing that.
Wow.
You know, the Louis Farrakhan, ever so often in his preaching, he would break into Calypso. Yeah, you know, and he would tell them, you know what I mean? I from the islands, you know, I could sing Calypso. And in his preaching, he would sing Calypso. I also don't understand what has happened to us because we have allowed religion to interfere with our carnival. So, for example, as I would have intimated, we did a lot of work in we did a lot of work in Nigeria. And
Nigeria?
Yeah. Nigeria has one huge carnival so the first capital in Nigeria is Calabar, where they exported more slaves than the current population of Trinidad. They exported more Africans into slavery than the population of Trinidad. They have used the carnival to uplift the city in a way that is frightening. When we went there first in 2004, they had no lights for the most part. Everything was generator powered. And then by 2010, we saw them teaching people how to use streetlights. No, we train it. So that was hilarious for us. But it talks about the kind of progress in 6 years with that, and they use the carnival as that kind of driver, right?
Wait. Marcia breaks there. You're saying that an African nation, specifically Nigeria,
yes,
used carnival, Trinidad Carnival, as a driver for development?
Yes, and economic growth, right? I was there.
Interesting.
I saw it. I lived it, But the other point is this. The first year we were there, we were invited to what is called a royal banquet. So we went. We are host of the governor, so we had no choice, so we go on. And next thing you know, it was a crusade. The governor's wife was the chief celebrant. We didn't know this. This woman is an ordained minister, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of years after that, her husband was supposed to be made president of Nigeria, and somewhere in the mix they changed the rules. That same year, they're now out of power as governor, but so we working for their band, and we lost the banner there by a point, right? And hereby we lost by the banner there by a point. There is a rule that you must leave on time. If you don't leave on time, they will deduct 50 of your points. This man was just governor. He was still governor. His band left 5 minutes late, and we lost the banner there by a point because they deducted 50 of our points. Them thing ain't happening in Trinidad. The governor band, you mad on. But the bottom line, so when we lost the banner there, I'm talking to her. I say, so where you feel? Here she. I'm talking to her about her husband not becoming governor. Here she, that don't hurt me as much as we losing banner there. This lady's an ordained minister. When she turned 60, she had 60 days of prayer and fast.
All right.
We are talking with her. We are talking with her now about their carnival is at Christmas time. We're talking to her now about doing some work for them again. And like I said, they've used the carnival for economic development and to uplift the state. There is much
and there's our Trini carnival that they're using.
Yeah, tell it. And I designed all the costumes for the first carnival. Every last single one.
That is so interesting. Now, Patrick, we're hitting 11:45. We have another 15 minutes or so.
Okay, cool.
We like, I want this program to be very conversational. So we always have call-ins. We have people who call in from the diaspora, from locally, and so on. So, Sir Charles, I hope you're there.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, to open up the lines.
Sure. So people, if you'd like to get in on the show now, you can call us at 281-1315. That's 281-1315 or 299-5156.
Yeah, well, Patrick, it is so good to hear you talk about the carnival being used in this manner abroad. Our carnival being used in this manner abroad. Because, very often when you come up with a concept, the first thing people say, well, where's your proof of concept? Where has this been done before successfully? And you have just supplied that. All right? Because all of we in Trinidad love we carnival, some less than others. All right? But by and large, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago love we carnival. I have seen carnival I've seen Caribana. I was in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it was Trinidad carnival, but it wasn't Trinidad carnival. It was Trinidad carnival lockdown. Spontaneity is such a critical element in our carnival. And when I went to Caribana, it wasn't there. You had all of the mass, you had the pan, you had everything else, but it was regimented. It wasn't the same.
Because and that's why I said they were having a festival. They were not having a carnival.
All right. So you think I saw it in the paper somewhere where I think our current Minister of Industry and Tourism voiced the opinion that we could have carnival all year round in the savannah. What do you think about that?
Well, but we have carnival all year round.
Okay.
We do, right? The savannah is way too small, but we have carnival all year round. We are now celebrating Calypso History Month. As soon as Calypso History Month is over, the preliminaries for Panorama is going to start. Before that, we had the whole month of August was Steel Fan Month. Right? If we go back, right, May is what started off as Borrow Day in Point 14 is now Borrow Month, right? And planes, people charter aircraft to come to Trinidad for Point 14 Borrow Day because they can't come for whatever reason at the normal Trinidad Carnival time. And whereas Borrow Day is static, when it starts and when it finishes, the Trinidad Carnival moves with the religious calendar. So the kind of money, in fact, right now, Point 14 is too small for its own carnival, right? And you see that happen in other places, San Fernando was just jump on it. And then in that whole Steel Band month, from Emancipation Day. Look at Emancipation Day. What Emancipation Day is? Emancipation Day is Carnival. That parade, that is Carnival. So we have Carnival whole year. How do we monetize it? Or should we monetize it? Is an entirely different story. However, we have had a very strong input in what Disney produces up to now. I know some guys living in France who work for Disney. Because of the technology, they're not going away. When you look at the Lion King is pure Trinidad Carnival. If you go to Disney, every day there's a street parade. It's Carnival, you know, but it's just that the Disney characters and things dancing. You can imagine, we hold on to that. Let us say we build a Carnival city, a Carnival arena, a Carnival village, something where when people, and we talk about tourism, both local and regional and international tourists come, where every day we could play mass.
Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, would you hold 1 minute there? Caller, good morning to you.
Great morning to you, Sir Charles.
Good morning.
A great morning to you, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, that's sounding like Adrian Baker.
A great morning to you, Mr. Robert.
Good morning. Is this Mr. Adrian Baker?
This morning. Thank you for sharing. I hope I can get more information on all of what you're speaking about. How do I?
What part of the world are you, sir?
I am in Trinidad.
Okay. So
courage and courtesy.
Yeah, I'm at a
if
point
you know, you know.
What did you say?
Courage and courtesy, sir. That part of Trinidad. If you know, you know.
Listen, your voice has already sold you out. Don't try that. Right? Yeah, I am in the process of publishing some of my thoughts because I started to design. I designed my first band for the 1980 Carnival, and having worked all over this, I needed to find a catalyst to keep me animated, to keep me excited, and I found that in writing. Just before I came on the air, in fact, one reason why I was late, I was having a conversation with some people in New York because they want to use our Juve as a teaching tool. Let me say that again. People in New York want to use our Juve as a teaching tool for children and adults.
Wow.
So that was the conversation I was having this morning because I have a manuscript on Juve that should be on Amazon within a month or so. And that will become the textbook for teaching this course. They've already invited me to come and teach. And as the caller would know, I could bump my gum.
That's for sure. But you know, this keeps Patrick, this thing keeps expanding all the time because in previous conversations, we've talked about the importance of significant restructuring of our education system.
Yeah.
In order that this whole thing that we're talking about here should be a part and parcel. There are so many young Trinidadians. I mean, you know, we take things for granted. 1970 is very real for me because I was in my 20s in 1970. So, sorry. I cannot take it for granted that everybody knows about 1970. But Sir Charles and Patrick, you know, there's a generation of Trinidadians who know very little about 1970.
But they don't even know about 1990.
And that is tragedy.
But let me also, when they started Children's Mass in Trinidad, it started in the schools as an education-driven process. I remember distinctly and clearly as if it was happening now. Newton boys, St. Patrick's boys right there on Marva Road, came up to QRC to talk to the then science brain in the country, Mr. Norman Lambert, because their mass was atoms and molecules. A primary school is playing a mass band called Atoms and Molecules. You can teach everything from the carnival. All the social sciences, all the natural sciences, the language, the art, the business, you name it. We can build an entire curriculum around our carnival. All right? From let me say from kindergarten all the way up into university and beyond. We need to bring the research and the technology to the carnival. Where should that happen? In the universities. So we can test the strength of the metals that we use.
Yeah.
Right? If you go back again to the club, so where Black Stallion is telling the pan maker, hail, Mr. Pan Maker, you have to know what is the size of rubber to do this. You have to know how much steel to in a tenor pan. And we are continuing to fail to do these things. And whilst we are sleeping, others are working.
Yep.
It is fortunate for us. So, like another, Andy Narell, who has the largest collection of steel pans in the world.
Is that right?
Say that again. Andy Narell has the largest collection of different steel pans in the world. All elementary and pole initial instruments, he has those. Whenever he has a major concert or major performance, he would send his double seconds to Trinidad to tune. He got fed up with that. He said, this is making no sense. He brought up the tuner to the United States, but the pans were not sounding good. So the pans had to come and touch the Trinidad soil. That is part of our gift, our God-given gift. I hope we never lose it.
Yep. So Patrick, the intangibles
Yes.
to move us forward to 2050. What are some of your thoughts upon what you would like Trinidad to look, see, and taste like and feel like in 2050?
Well, like I said, we need to invest in our people first of all. And as I just said earlier, we can build an entire country around carnival. There's a professor in the UB named Gary Garcia. His thing is agriculture. He has written papers on the ecology of carnival.
The ecology of carnival.
Yes, the ecology of carnival. Because you know at carnival time we eat certain foods.
Yes.
Right? So he is talking about rearing our own animals to supply their need. Planting the corn and the peas and the this and the that and thing. And once we start to go down that road, right, we save the fish, right? We can move from white flour, especially in our way, right? We can go to cassava flour, so we can plant cassava. We can go to yam flour. He's a professor in UE, and he has written on this thing extensively on the ecology of carnival.
Well, you know, Patrick, as you say that, you know what hits my mind is that our oil and gas are diminishing resources.
Yes, because they're finite.
They are very finite. But you know what we just talk about there? Infinite.
It is.
We cannot exhaust that. That what you call it? You can't call it a portfolio. A portfolio is too limited.
Yeah.
That is a resource. We can't exhaust that resource.
And once we invest in children, because they are naturally creative, and they will take what we are doing, because like I said, we run an open mass camp where anybody can come in, right? And I remember in 2001 working on a mass and struggling, and my nephew was about 8. I'm telling them how I sorry. Yeah, but uncle, I don't think that. And I said, but I'm tell you, tap. I said, months I busted my brain. We bring engineer, we bring architect and thing. And this little 8-year-old boy know the solution, you know. You know the solution come down to a piece of elastic that he know about. So because they see things from a different perspective. Yes. And they ask, but uncle, why are you doing that? So, and you look at them and say, so I've learned it. So how I should do it? They say, well, uncle, just do so. And I tell them, thank you. Because in the mass camp, all the voices are equal. because we are striving to this perfect product, and none of us have the answers.
So
Right.
such critical elements such as and Patrick about in terms of building our nation.
Yeah.
Yes. Very, very
We are
critical.
the old teacher
where
young
we-
and the young teacher old.
where can people find you and the mass camp?
The mass camp is at number 2 Scott Street in St. Clair. Scott Street runs parallel to Ellerslie Plaza. It's a short street. We are at one end. We are the eastern end, next to the Turkish embassy. The mass camp is open from 1, officially open from 1 to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday. But like I say, it's carnival time, so we here more often than not. There are numbers. I'll give you 2 numbers. One is 477-0211. That's
477-0211.
0211. Yeah. And the other one is 773. I can't remember one for number. I think it's 1474. Yeah. 773-1474.
1474. So the
Yeah,
first one is
477
477
0211.
0211. So all our listeners out there in Letiria Radio land, we are at the end of our program. Patrick, I want to thank you so much for participating on our platform this morning. And of course, I'm going to have to invite you again because I know we haven't begun to tap into the knowledge and the history that is resident within yourself. So thanks again. And people, thanks for listening to New Era Radio TT. Every cent counts. If you want to contact me, 680-3185. WhatsApp me at 680-3185. All blessings.
Okay. Thank you very much, God. Thank you very much, Patrick, passing through. Keep it right here on New Era TT Radio. Straight ahead, we have your 12 o'clock newscast.
The news you need